down to the last banana. I think I need to order more in the shopping next week. For dinner, we're just going to have some roast vegetables. I've got some squash. These are our little potatoes, the Anya from our garden. A couple of these tomatoes are ours. I don't think that's one of them. And I've also got some courgette, and these cute little courgettes are from our garden too. I'm just going to roast them up with some olive oil, a sprinkle of salt once they're done, and maybe some Italian herb. I'm prepping this now so I can put it in the fridge. It takes about 20-25 minutes, so it'll be ready to just throw in the oven when we get in. I've just finished work and I've met Trevor in Starbucks for a study break. I'm having a caramel frappuccino with decaf coffee, and today is the start of the pumpkin spice latte, so Trevor has got a pumpkin spice latte. So I also popped into Wilkinson's, but their seed selection was really disappointing. The only thing I really want to get, I think I've mentioned before, is kale and broad beans, and my mum has got some of those anyway. So I didn't buy any of their half-price seeds, and their bulb area was still completely empty. I went in a couple of weeks ago and it was empty. I'm not very impressed with the Wilkinson's actually. Our Wilkinson's has recently moved location, and the location seems smaller and it's always busy, and I don't really like the queuing system in there, which is a bit of a pain. But I did pick up these soap dishes, which were 25p each, which I thought was pretty good. I'm not sure what they were reduced from. I think they're probably only £3 or £4 to start with, but I got 2 of those, so one for the side of the bath and one for the side of the sink in the bathroom. And I got this wallpaper. It's got like a white kind of tree pattern on it. It probably, it wasn't really exactly what I was looking for. I wanted something that had a blue colour in it, but they didn't have anything that was just smooth paper, because I wanted for lining the kitchen cupboards, and I thought that one was quite neutral, and it was reduced to £2.20 I think, from £9-10 or whatever the roll of wallpaper normally is. Because I really want to sort out the kitchen cupboards, I briefly mentioned it a few vlogs ago, but I really want to tackle them, particularly under the sink. We had some trouble with the pipes under the sink. They had a very slow leak, but they also just had a lot of condensation, so it was making under the sink damp. But Trevor has put lagging and stuff on them now, but some of the shelves are a bit stained. It's like a rusty stain. Even though I've cleaned them, it's not come off. So I want to put like a nice lining paper in there and just spruce it up a bit. This is the under sink cupboard that I'm going to tackle first. I'm going to take everything out, give the shelves a good scrub down. They're not actually as clean as I thought they were. They get grubby a lot because of the pans going in and out, and then it makes a mess on the bottom of them. And also the hinges of these cupboards are just not in good condition. The metal is a bit almost rusty, and they leave a mess too. The wood I painted, I'm not sure if it was earlier this year or last year, with shed paint, and I really like the colour of it, and it covered up the wood well, and it's good in our damp kitchen, but it doesn't really lend itself well to like a high trafficked area where we're opening and closing the cupboards a lot. So I'm also going to, at some point in the next couple of weeks, just go over the cupboard handles, because I've still got some of that paint left, and it was just a tester pot that I used in the first place. The back of this cupboard around the pipe is much worse than I realised. It gets damp in our flat, and I think the back of this cupboard in particular is probably steam and stuff when we're cooking, although we always keep the windows open. And you can see it's like the condensation running down the pipe probably, because the pipe above is the one that has had the leak and the lagging. I'm going to get some bleach around the bend on that pipe because I can't seem to scrub it out, and then get it cleared up. But when you're just looking at the cupboard, when it's got all the pans and everything in it, you can't really, I've never noticed that it's that bad at the back before. The whole kitchen suite is really old. I imagine it was probably put in when the flat was built in the 70s, because it's definitely still the original avocado plastic bathroom here, which is pretty grim. Because we did look at replacing these cupboard fronts, but the hinges in them are so like rusted, we wouldn't be able to attach them to the insides of the cabinet that would still exist. We couldn't just replace the fronts. It is a rented property. We've asked the landlady before about doing kitchen renovations, and she's said no, basically. And it's not something that we would want to spend a lot of money on, because hopefully we'll only be here for another few months. 6 months tops, I would imagine. So I'm just going to get it cleared out now as best I can and give it a good freshen up. I do regularly like clean through the cupboards. Maybe not regularly, that's probably a bit of an overstretch. I have cleaned out the cupboards several times since we've lived here and given them all a good wipe down, so that's built up over I don't know, let's say a 6-month period perhaps. So I definitely need to include like emptying the cupboards and wiping them out more in my weekly cleaning schedule. I think I'm going to leave it here now. We are going to get that roast, which the roast vegetables, which you can just pop in the oven, which is really easily done, and I might come back to this cupboard a little bit later and have a bit of a break now. I'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.